Greetings, this is Trev from onlinepclearning.com. This is part 2 of our expense calculator. Remember, we are looking at building this little expense calculator that allows us to add data to our database, and then that information is automatically tracked for us here on two pivot, or a pivot chart and a pivot table. Alright, let's get started. If you haven't seen video 1, you'll need to do that because we formatted the sheet in video 1 to this stage where we had the data entry sheet set up and the database sheet set up. Well, the first thing we want to do is hit the Alt key and F11 to open up our Visual Basic Editor. Okay, now into our workbook 2, you can name this whatever you want. We're going to add a user form. So we'll go Insert, and then we'll look at User Form. So now we put our user form in here, we'll expand it along a little bit to give it some room and pull it down. Okay, so just click over here to where it says User Form, and then I want you to hit your F4 key, and the Properties box is going to come up for you to see. Where it says User Form, change the name, which is the top heading, to Data Entry. That's more applicable to what we're looking at. Data Entry. Okay, so now you'll notice where it formerly said User Form 1 here, it now says Data Entry, and that's exactly what we want. Alright, here's our user form. Let's go about putting some buttons onto here. So we're going to look at the text box first of all. We'll put in a text box over to here. There we go. We'll add 3 of them, one underneath the other. Well, actually, we're going to add 3 of them, but one of them we're going to put in 2 combo boxes. So we'll put in our 3 text boxes. Okay, we'll click these 2, hold your Shift key down and click it, and then you can drag them down. They should lock into grid. Okay, and into here, we're just going to put in a combo box. Here's our combo box here from the toolbox. By the way, if you don't see the toolbox, go up into View and then click on Toolbox, and you'll see it. I just deactivated it, so it's View and Toolbox. Now we'll put in a combo box over to here, and then another combo box into here. Now you can align and space these as you wish. Mine aren't lined up too well here. Over to the right, we'll put in some command buttons. Click the command button. We're going to need 4 command buttons. We'll put them in 1, 2, 3. Alright, now we have in our 4 command buttons, our 3 text boxes and 2 combo boxes. To the left of these, we just want to put some descriptive labels to tell us what they are. So we'll click in here where it says Label, and we'll put in our 4 or 5 labels through here. Alright, now simply add your description for each of these boxes by clicking in the labels, right-clicking, choosing Properties. And then as you look at that, it's going to tell us it's called Label 1. We really don't need to change the name of this because we're not going to be referencing it. But down here where it says Caption, in there, you can choose to put in here whatever you want. So this first one is going to be Date. Our next one, we'll just right-click again and choose Properties. You can actually leave the Properties box open. The next one will be called Store, I think it is, isn't it? And click on our next label. It's going to be called Category. Our next label was Amount. And our final label was Description. Now what I want you to do here, in the same way, click on your text box, right-click and choose Properties, and I want you to change the name. I have a naming convention that I use and I think is pretty popular, where if it's a text box, I always call it TXT, and then the name of what it is. So it'll be TXT Date. I put the TXT in lowercase, and the date starts in uppercase. So for Store, which is a combo box, I call it CBO, and this one is going to be Store. And that way I know when I'm referencing this in code, I can easily recognize it. Here's our next combo box, so it'll be CBO lowercase, Category. And finally our amount will be Text, and this will be Amount. Our last one, which is our final text box 3, will be TXT Comments. Now we'll be referencing these in code, so it's important that we have these names clearly identified. For our command button, we'll do the same. The command button syntax I use is CMD lowercase and then whatever it might be. So this is CMD add me or add data. Right. This next one here would be CMD refresh. This is what we're going to use to refresh our data. Our next button would be CMD view, and our final button here is CMD close. Now adding the button text or caption is the same. Click back in your button, go down to where it says caption, and here we'll put add data. Doesn't matter about spaces now because it's just descriptive text we're putting in. To caption down here for command button 2, we're going to put refresh. For our next one, we'll be looking at view. View data. And for our final one is close. I'm just going to add also at the top of this, let's pull this down a little, and we're going to select all by pulling our cursor over it and then dragging it all down a fraction. And I'm going to put in here one final piece of information. I want to put in here a little text box right up the top, or actually no, it should really be a label. Put a label in up here, and that's going to have the title of what we're doing. So again, we'll hit properties and we'll put in our caption down here, and this is going to be expense calculator. Alright, let's quickly put some colour into here. It's good to know how the properties works. Highlight the box, not any control. You see a control is highlighted. Click outside to highlight the box. Right click and choose properties. Now just have a good look at this. I'll pull it up over here so you can see it, and I'll also make it a little bit wider. In here you'll see that you have the back colour and you have border colour. So we're going to put a back colour in here. Click down, click across, and then you have system colours and palette. I'll always choose palette and put a soft background in. Okay, now go across here and then click on the date label box. Hold your shift key down, click the store, category, amount and description. Go back into your properties box, go back to palette again and choose the same colour. While you are here with these, we want these to stand out a bit. So we're going to go down to font, which is here. All of these properties you can apply to multiple boxes. And here's our font box come up. We want it to be bold, and let's say we want to make it a little bit bigger, so we'll make it 10. And we'll go OK. Alright, we're starting to get this formatted, aren't we? So to our header at the top, I'll just show you one more time. We would click on the header, we would choose back colour, palette, and then a nice dark colour for there. That's a bit too dark for me, we'll choose this one. And then for our font, we choose a bigger font because this is our header, maybe 14, bold, OK. And then we want to change the colour of the font. So we go down to font colour underneath it, and here we're going to choose white. Right at the bottom it says align text left. Well, we want this to be aligned in the centre, so choose centre. So really there's a whole set of formatting tools that you can use here. And again, you can do the same with your buttons. Just click on the button that you have here and choose the back colour that you want. You might, we've got 4 buttons, so we'll start by doing one darker and choose the lighter font. I'll let you set that up. So now our user form is fully set up. All right. Okay. While we're here, choose the Insert module and choose Sub, or type in Sub, Open Me, and hit Enter. In between that, I want you to type these words. The name of our user form is Data Entry, so we're going to put Data E-N-T-R-Y, one word, .show. And then click away, it should change to uppercase as it has there. Go over to where we've inserted Module 1 and hit the F4 key and change the name of Module 1 to Macros. Just right click it and choose Assign Macro, and there'll be one macro in there called Open Me. Choose OK. Now on our sheet, when we click on that user form shape, our expense calculator appears. In our next tutorial, we'll show you how to add the code behind the expense calculator.